There's still a gray area that I think I need clarity, and I'd like you to help me here. We've seen quite a bit of unrest in the southeast, where it seems like the security forces were overwhelmed by hoodlums. And many people were advising the government or the governors of the state to invite the military to support, number one. Number two, we've seen how volatile elections have been, where we're calling the military to help support, to ensure that there's sanity. Thirdly, this same time, October 20th last year, we saw the military come also to Ikeja. The same governor asked for reinforcement because we all saw the burning of tires, the destruction of properties, where it was as law and order were broken down in Lagos State. And as a governor, he called for reinforcement. Please, I need help. Now, is that a crime? Because now they're saying, oh, because he called for the army is a problem. And we're thinking, I thought governors is within their purview to ask for reinforcement when there's a breakdown of law and order, because this same military went to Alausa and they were there in Ikeja. And there was no massacre there. So what happened? Who gave therefore the instruction, therefore, where in Ikeja, in Tollgate, there was killing? So is it therefore fair to assume or to incriminate that it was the governor that gave that instruction? That's the gray area that I really need clarity on.
For me, the issue is that if you look at the Constitution, I started by enlightening that under Section 218 of the Constitution, the operational use of the armed forces is vested in the President. And Section 130 says the President shall be the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federation. If you also look at the Armed Forces Act, the President is also allowed to delegate his powers under the Constitution. In writing, yes, for the President to delegate, in writing.
Yes.
So people are now, and you see, the problem is that we are so used to abuse in Nigeria. Ordinarily, if everything had gone well on the 20th, we probably would not be having conversation on why the military was invited.
Yes.
Because governors invite the military to intervene in civilian affairs almost every day.
Exactly.
The Nigerian military is about the most abused in the world. They carry handbags of wives of politicians. They follow politicians to parties. They arrest husband and wife over disputes. The military goes to protect property. Right. The military does everything. The military goes to demolish. There's nothing the military. The military even regulates traffic in Nigeria. So this abuse of the military is something that we inherited from long years of military dictatorship. Now, people are asking, what did the governor do wrong? I make a concession that there was violence, there was carnage, there was arson, which was condemnable, including the attack on your organization. These things cannot be tolerated. Yeah. But the point is that people are saying, given what transpired, because you rightly said the military was at Ikeja, why did they not shoot at people?
You were given the instruction.
I was at the panel of inquiry when General Bello testified. And one of the questions we asked him under court examination was that all the instances of violence that you cited as the basis for your intervention took place after 20th of October. Most of the politicians in Lagos were burnt after that day. Yeah, so what we are saying, I know the governor politically may not be very willing to say certain things, because do not forget he said it was beyond his control. So if he invited them, somebody gave, the military acts based on chain of command. Somebody told them open fire. And that person must be identified and put on trial. Beyond the invitation by the governor, the person who gave the order for them to open fire on civilians must be arrested and put on trial.
Okay. So obviously, you already mentioned in the beginning of your conversation that we might not get any reply from the military perspective. Even the report mentioned how the request for the presence of specific military officers didn't show up. You know, so we might not, I think looking towards that angle might not be realistic for Nigerians. What would you say is a realistic expectation from Nigerians, number one? Number two, one of the core issues with Sars was a reform of the police force. And I believe that at the end of the day, we mustn't get distracted from what our goal was, which is to ensure that the police gets everything they need to help them be efficient in protecting us. We need them. So how do we translate from that anger of this is what happened in Sars to the point where we understand that we still need the police force in Nigeria? Is it decentralization? Is it just reforms? Is it state police? What would you say is the realistic approach for Nigerians to expect as a resolution for these issues?
Well, I don't want to be accused of being unnecessarily pessimistic, but I can tell you Buhari will not implement the recommendations.
Buhari.
The president will not implement the recommendations of this committee.
Wow.
He will not. History has shown he will not. Another government will implement it. Now, regarding reform, it is another government will have to implement it. I don't have any confidence that this government will implement it. If you are saying that, because what we were talking about, look at what is happening. Have they stopped harassing people on the road? The answer is no.
Well, it seems the governor's hands are tied. The police don't report to him.
Police,
He doesn't have access to the army. So what can the governor therefore do to demonstrate to the Nigerian people that he have seen this recommendation and this is what I want to do to quell your thoughts against this thing?
Every state, you know, people say governors have no control over the police. That is not totally correct. Under section 215 of the Constitution, the Constitution gives the governor of a state the power to give such lawful directives to the Commissioner of Police. And the Commissioner of Police is bound to obey, except that he may defer to Abuja. The question I've always asked is, because I had that conversation with the Commissioner of Information of Lagos, I said, cite one example where Governor Sanwo-Olu called Odumosu, the CP, and said, do this. And he said, sir, I want to seek clearance from the IG. So when governors say they don't control the police, they are being economical with the truth, because every state has Security Council, presided over by the governor. That Security Council has the army, has the Air Force, has the police, all security agencies. There is also the Nigeria Police Council that we seldom talk about, comprising of all the governors in Nigeria. The Police Council is a very important body. So when it has to do with political intervention, arousing their opponents in Nigeria, governors don't complain about controlling the police. But I do agree that systematically, in terms of structure, it ultimately lies with the federal government. But let us not say, oh, they don't have any hand. How about security votes that every governor takes home monthly?
What do they do with it?
Don't they give this part of this money to the police? Let the governor start by withholding his allocation, his grants to the police. And tell them that in my state, anybody who is killed by the police, you lose your subvention for the month. Let a governor in Nigeria write a petition to the president.
So you're saying it's political will?
It's political will. Let governors stop making excuses. They have the power to regulate what the police does in their state.